Dear students, I welcome you all to today's class. Today, I will take accountancy in place of business studies. Already, you have studied the first topic, Introduction to Accounting, wherein you have learned the origin of accounting, the definition of accounting, the objectives of accounting, role of accounting, qualitative characteristics of accounting information, and the basic terms in accounting. Today, let me start with the second topic, that is theory base of accounting. You know, accounting is the art of recording, classifying, and summarizing in a significant manner and in terms of money, transactions, and events which are in part at least of financial character and interpreting the result thereof. So, accounting is concerned with art of recording, classifying, and summarizing. While doing this, we need some theory base. Actually, accounting is an art. When we speak of art, application of skill and knowledge into practice comes. For that, we need some theoretical base, which we are supposed to discuss in this topic. So then, what is theory? In general, theory means an idea which has been universally accepted by all as a guide for doing some work. Put it in other words, a theory is a set of principles. It's a set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based. It's a set of principles on which the practice of an activity is based. See, accounting is an activity. It is a practice. To practice the accounting activity, we need some principles. And such principles are called theories here. Theory of accounting or theory base of accounting. There's a popular saying, accountancy professors, accounting practices. Accountancy professors and accounting practices. And for practicing the accounting or for carrying on the activities of accounting, we need some basic principles. And such principles are called theory. And the theory base of accounting consists of principles, rules, concepts, and the general guidelines. Accounting theory consists of principles, rules, concepts, and guidelines. And how these principles are developed? They are developed over a period of time. They consist of principles, rules, concepts, and guidelines developed over a period of time. What for? To bring uniformity and consistency in the process of accounting. To bring uniformity and consistency in the process of accounting, and thereby enhance the utility of accounting information to different users of accounting information. You know, there are different users of accounting information. It may be internal users or external users, manager, internal user, manager, the owner, and external users like creditors, isn't it, or investor. They all use the accounting information, and when its utility is more, they can take better judgment. They can take better judgment. To increase its utility, there should be uniformity and consistency in accounting practice. For that, we need some principles, rules, concepts, and guidelines, and all these put together is called the theoretical base of accounting. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ತನ್ನ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನ ಕೊಡುವಂತಹ ಉದ್ದೇಶವನ್ನ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದು, ಆ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯ ಲಭ್ಯತೆ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯ ಸತ್ಯಾಸತ್ಯತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಳಕೆ ಮಾಡುವವರಿಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ತತ್ವಗಳನ್ನ, ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಕಲ್ಪನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಸೂತ್ರಗಳನ್ನ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಂತಹ ತತ್ವಗಳನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶಿ ಸೂತ್ರಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಥಿಯರಿ ಬೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, generally accepted accounting principles. We are supposed to discuss here GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, popularly known as GAAP, GAAP. So GAAP means, in our language, what it means? Generally accepted accounting principles. Because accounting is a language of business. We should know the meaning of some terms in our language. GAAP in our language means what? Generally accepted accounting principles. Generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP. This is very popular name. Then what is this GAAP? Actually, in order to maintain uniformity and consistency in accounting records, certain rules have been developed. Once again I repeat, in order to maintain uniformity and consistency in accounting records, certain rules have been developed which are generally accepted by accounting professionals, and these rules are generally accepted by accounting professionals. It may be CAs and other practicing persons. They have generally accepted these rules, and these rules are called principles, concepts, principles, concepts, conventions or postulates. Conventions or postulates. The accounting records should show uniform information, and the information should be in consistent format, or there should be consistency in generating or methods of generating the information. Then only it will carry a common meaning to all. That's why the accounting professionals have developed some principles, ತತ್ವಗಳನ್ನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಕಲ್ಪನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಂಪ್ರದಾಯಗಳನ್ನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, generally accepted accounting principle ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. Let's move on to see next. Generally accepted accounting principles refers to the rules, the guidelines adopted for recording and reporting of business transactions. Generally accepted accounting principles refers to the rules or guidelines adopted for recording and reporting of business transactions in order to bring uniformity in the preparation and presentation of financial statements. At the end of the year, the business is supposed to prepare the financial statements to provide the information to the interested users. In order to bring the uniformity in the information so generated, some rules or guidelines are adopted for recording and reporting the business transactions. Such rules or guidelines are called GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. And these principles are also referred to as concepts and conventions. As I told earlier, these principles are also referred to as concepts and conventions. This is about the meaning of GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. What they mean? They are the rules or guidelines developed for the purpose of recording and generating the accounting information and bring uniformity in the information so generated. When there is uniformity, its utility will increase for the interested users. In order to that, some rules and guidelines are developed, and such rules and guidelines developed and accepted by accounting professionals are called GAAP. Next, concept. The term concept refers to the necessary assumptions and ideas which are fundamental to accounting practice. Concepts means the necessary assumptions and ideas which are fundamental to accounting practice. ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಊಹೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಹೀಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಫರ್ಮ್ ಹೀಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಊಹೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಅಂತಹ ಊಹೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅಂತಹ ಕಲ್ಪನೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ? ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Whereas principles, principle means general rule or rule which has been generally accepted universally. ತತ್ವ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ನಿಯಮವನ್ನ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಮಂದಿ ಒಪ್ಪಿಕೊಂಡಿರುವಾಗ ಅದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ತತ್ವ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. Okay. Next, conventions. And the term convention implies customs or traditions as a guide to the preparation of accounting statement. While preparing the accounting statements, we follow some traditions or customs, and such traditions or customs which we use as a guide for preparation of accounting statements are called conventions. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಸಂಪ್ರದಾಯಗಳು ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನಾವು ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ನಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಂತಹ ಸಂಪ್ರದಾಯಗಳನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲಿತಾ ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯ ಕಸ್ಟಮ್ಗಳು ಇದಾವೆ ಅಥವಾ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನ್ಗಳು ಇದಾವೆ. ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ರೂಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನ್. ಸಚ್ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ the principles, conventions, assumptions, postulates are in this topic commonly referred to as basic accounting concepts. Basic accounting concepts. The principles, conventions, postulates and the concepts are here commonly referred to as basic accounting concepts. Basic accounting concept. These are the concepts on which the entire accounting is based because they are basic. These concepts are the foundation for development of accounting, or they are very base on which the entire accounting activities are based. Okay, now let's see what exactly these basic accounting concepts mean. The basic accounting concepts refer to the fundamental ideas or basic assumptions underlying the theory and practice of accounting, and are broad working rules for all accounting activities. Basic accounting concept are the fundamental ideas, as I told. Concepts are the fundamental assumptions. They are the fundamental ideas or basic assumptions underlying the theory and practice of accounting. ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಮೂಲಭೂತವಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತಹ ಐಡಿಯಾಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ದೇ ಆರ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್. ನೀವು ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಲಿತೀರೋ ಆ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗಿಗೆ ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಗಳು ಏನಾಗಿರ್ತವೆ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ವರ್ಕಿಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ನಿಯಮಗಳ ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ನಿಯಮಗಳ ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯವನ್ನ ನಿರ್ವಹಿಸಬೇಕೋ ಆ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, let's see the basic accounting concept. There are different accounting concepts, as many as 13 concepts as per the textbook. Earlier they were classified into concepts and conventions separately, and at present they are clubbed together and they are commonly referred as basic accounting concepts. And 13 accounting concepts are there on which the entire accounting is based. And the first one is business entity concept. Business entity concept. Second one is money measurement concept. Then going concern concept, accounting period concept, cost concept, dual aspect concept. Next, revenue recognition or realization concept. Then matching concept, full disclosure, concept of full disclosure, consistency, conservatism, materiality, and last one is objectivity or objective evidence concept. It's also called objective evidence concept. These are the concepts on which entire accounting is based. Now we are supposed to discuss each of these concepts in detail, not in detail but at least in brief. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತಾ ಆಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅದರ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೇವೆ. ಒಂದೇ ಸಲ ಇದು ಪೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮುಂದೆ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೋ ಆವಾಗ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೇವೆ. ಫಾರ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಲರ್ನ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಬ್ರೀಫ್. ಸೊ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ? Already you have learned the meaning of the term entity. What is entity? Entity means a reality having a definite existence, or an entity is a reality which has definite individual existence. ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿಟಿಗೆ ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂತಹ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂತಹ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲರ್ನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್. ನೌ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್. ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. The concept of business entity assumes that business has a distinct and separate entity from its owners. Business has a separate existence or distinct identity from its owners. Suppose A starts a business unit. A starts a business unit in your place, and what business entity concept says, A is different, his business is different. A is different and his business is different. They are two separate identities, or they are two separate entities. It means that for the purpose of accounting, the business and its owners are to be treated as two separate entity. Business entity concept says that the owner is different and the business unit is different. For accounting purpose, they are two separate entities. If A carries on business, A is different and his business is different. And as a result, when a person brings in some money to the business, suppose here A brings in some money to the business, what it is called? A brings in money to start his business. Give one name for this, XXXX. This is a shop. A starts a shop and he brings in money to the business to start or run the business. What this money is called? What is the name for that? You know? This is called capital, isn't it? When a person brings in some money as capital into his business, it is treated as liability of the business to the owners. It is treated as liability of the business to the owners. When he brings in money to the business, it is called capital, isn't it? ಅವನು ಹಣವನ್ನ ವ್ಯವಹಾರವನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾನೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಹೆಸರು ಕೊಟ್ವಿ? ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಬಂಡವಾಳ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ವಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾಗೆ ಅವನು ಬಂಡವಾಳವನ್ನ ತರ್ತಾನಲ್ವಾ, ಮನಿ ಆರ್ ಮನೀಸ್ ವರ್ತ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಪ್ರೊಪ್ರೈಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಆ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿರತ್ತೆ? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ. What is liability? It is the liability of the business to the owner. Owner brings in money for starting the business. What for he brings in money for starting the business? He brings in because it is his business. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅವನೇ ವ್ಯವಹಾರವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾನೆ? ಹಣವನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲಿ ತರಬೇಕು ತಾನೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ತಂದಂತ ಹಣಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರೆದ್ವಿ? ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದ್ವಿ. But that capital belongs to A. Business belongs to A. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಅವನ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಹಣ ಯಾರ್ದದು? Money relates to A, isn't it? Money relates to A. But for accounting purpose, owner is different from his business. For accounting purpose, owner is different from his business. So the money invested by the proprietor into the business is called capital, but that capital is liability of the business towards the owner. Liability means, you know, what is liability? ಹೊಣೆಗಾರಿಕೆ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? It is the amount due from the business to the outsider. Amount due from the business or amount payable by the business to the outsider is called a liability. ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ A is the owner, whether he is an outsider. Actually, he is not an outsider, he is an insider. In spite of that, accounting concept says, business entity concept says, the owner is different and the business entity is different. They are two separate entities. They are two separate entities. ಅವರಿಬ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಕವಾದಂತಹ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದಂತಹ ಎರಡು ಎಂಟಿಟಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. And it's because of this, owner can give money to the business and he can take money from the business. He can give money to the business and he can take money from the business. And when he gives money to the business, it is called capital here. And when he withdrew that money, It's called drawings. It's possible only because of this business entity concept. So this is the first concept in accounting which says that the owner and business units are two separate entities. Nenpitkobeku. For accounting purpose, the owner and the business units are two separate entities, and it's because of this principle the capital brought in by the proprietor to the business is shown as a liability. It is shown as a liability. Okay. Now let's move on to see the second concept, that is money measurement concept. Money measurement concept. Money measurement concept. What it says? Money measurement concept. The concept of money measurement states that only those transactions or happenings in a organization which can be expressed in money terms should be recorded in the books of account, such as sale of goods, payment of expenses, or receipt of income, etc. are to be recorded in books of account. Other transactions may take place, but if they are not in a position to express in money terms, such items should not be recorded in books of accounts. Money measurement concept says that all items which are expressible in money terms should be recorded in the books of account. Some transactions cannot be recorded in the books of account because they cannot be expressed in money terms. See, sale of goods, sold goods to someone for rupees 10,000. We can express it in money terms. We can write it here. Okay. Then some other events, it may not be in money terms. Then it cannot be recorded in the books of account. And money measurement concept helps us to record in the books of account the items of diverse nature. There are different items, in a business unit. Say there may be building. How many buildings? One building. Machines, 10. Furniture, 5. Vehicles, 6. How to record it? Building, 1. Machines, 10. Furniture, 5. Vehicles, 6. All these are assets. How much is the total assets? If I say 10 plus 1, 11 plus 5, 16 plus 6, 22. If I write 22, it does not convey the correct meaning, because here items are of diverse nature. Items are of diverse nature. When items are of diverse nature, we have to express in common terms, that is in money terms. So if we express it in money terms, we can easily record, and we may tell how much is the total asset. Say it is 10 lakhs. Very easily we can understand. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಯಾವಾಗ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಗಿರತ್ತ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೆದು ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಆಸ್ತಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅದನ್ನ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕಾಮನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ? 22. ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಆಸ್ತಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 22 ಆಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗತ್ತೆ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಮನಿ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸೇ ಹೌ ಮಚ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ನೀವು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ವರ್ತ್ rupees 25 lakhs ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಾಮನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. 25 ಲಕ್ಷದ ಆಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ವರ್ತ್ rupees 1 crore. 1 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬಹಳನೇ ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ದ ವೆರಿ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಅಕ್ಯುರೇಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಆ ಅಕ್ಯುರೇಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮನಿ ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್. ಮನಿ ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್, once again I repeat, says that only those transactions or happenings in the organization which can be expressed in terms of money should be recorded in the books of accounts. Non-monetary events like appointment of a manager, retirement of an accountant, or quality of products, etc., cannot be expressed in terms of money and hence not to be recorded in the books of account. There may be some non-monetary events. Transaction is a event or dealing between two entities. Alva? Transaction ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? It's an event or dealing between two entities which can be expressed in terms of money. ಹಣದ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತದ ಅಂತದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ನಾನ್ ಮೊನೆಟರಿ ಇವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಒಬ್ಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ, he retires. Is it not an important event? Definitely it is an important event, but it cannot be expressed in money terms, so it should not be recorded in the books of account. I hope you are following me. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಒಬ್ಬ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೆ, ಯಾವ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅದರ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ವಿಷಯವನ್ನ ಹೇಳುವಂತ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದ, ಅವನು ರಿಟೈರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇವೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಮನಿ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ, ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದರ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಬಹಳನೇ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಿದೆ. ಹೌ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಮನಿ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್? ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಮನಿ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್. ಓನ್ಲಿ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಮನಿ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ books of accounts. So money measurement concept, once again I repeat, says that only those transactions or happenings in an organization which can be expressed in terms of money should be recorded in the books of account. Money measurement concept helps us to express or record the items of diverse nature in common terms. ಇದು ಕಾಮನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ, ಮನಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಜಡ್ಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತಹ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಬೈ ಅಮೆರಿಕನ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್. ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈಯಿಂಗ್, ಮೆಜರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟಿಂಗ್ ದ ಎಕಾನಮಿಕ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್. Look at the wording there. Identifying, measuring and communicating the economic information so as to make the informed judgments by the users of information. ಅದರ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಯಾರು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಿರ್ಣಯವನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಅನುಕೂಲವಾಗುವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಅಂತ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಗೆ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ರಿ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮನಿ ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ basic concept here which says all transactions which can be expressed in terms of money should be recorded in the books of account. Non-monetary transactions should not be recorded here. Okay, now let's move on to see the next concept, that is going concern concept. Going concern concept. What it says, going concern concept. The very name says going. What is going here? Going concern. Concern means organization. What it says? Actually, going concern concept says that an organization or a business unit is assumed to be carried on for a long period of time, or business is assumed to be carried on for an indefinite period. Indefinite period means here long period of time. The going concern concept assumes that A business firm would continue to carry out its operations indefinitely. A business firm is assumed to carry out its business or continue to carry out its business operations indefinitely, that is for a long period of time, and it would not be liquidated in the foreseeable future. ಅದನ್ನ ಹತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಾವೇನು ಯಾವ ವ್ಯವಹಾರವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಆರಂಭ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇವೆಯೋ ಆ ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ದೀರ್ಘಾವಧಿಯ ತನಕ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯುತ್ತದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸದ್ಯ ಭವಿಷ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ವ್ಯವಹಾರವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮುಕ್ತಾಯಗೊಳಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಊಹೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ವ್ಯವಹಾರವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಲಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಎನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಊಹೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಸೇಸ್ or it assumes that a business firm would continue to carry on its operations indefinitely. Indefinitely means for a long period of time, fairly long period of time. How much is a long period? I can't answer. ಎಷ್ಟು ಸರ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದು it depends on the circumstances. And what we assume that that particular business will not be liquidated in the near future. ಹತ್ತಿರದ ಭವಿಷ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮುಚ್ಚೋದಂತೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಪನೆಯನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಊಹೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೇವೆ. And it is on the basis of this concept the financial statements are prepared. And for preparing financial statement, going concern concept is the base, and it's based on this concept that fixed assets are valued at their cost prices and depreciation is charged every year. It's based on this concept that fixed assets are recorded at cost irrespective of their market price and depreciation is charged every year. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಾಗಿದ್ರೆ? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಬೇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ at cost. A computer is purchased. This is a business unit. Assume X and X is there, and they purchase a computer costing rupees 50,000. What type of asset is it? What type of asset it is? It is a fixed asset. You know, asset is an economic resource. Asset is an economic resource which can be used to carry on the business. ವ್ಯವಹಾರವನ್ನ ನಡೆಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ನಡೆಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲಗಳು ಬೇಕಾಗಿವೆ, ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಆ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದಿರಿ. ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಸೆಟ್, ಅಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ವಿ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ an asset, what we purchase actually, we purchase bundle of services that asset can deliver. ಯಾವ ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೋ ಆ ಆಸ್ತಿ ನಮಗೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನ ಕೊಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಆ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನ ನಾವು ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. when we purchase a computer costing rupees 50,000, we purchase bundle of services. Then how to record it? 50,000 rupees is spent for purchasing a computer, but entire benefit will not be taken in the year in which it is purchased. ಈ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು 50,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿನ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ 50,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಮೌಲ್ಯದ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಈ ವರ್ಷವೇ ನಾವು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. But its benefits will be derived over for a number of years, say 5 years, 6 years, like that. It depends. Okay. So, while recording such assets, we record it at cost in the financial statement. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮೌಲ್ಯದ ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ತೇವೋ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಆ ವರ್ಷದ ಖರ್ಚು ಅಂತ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, because it's a new concept, you will learn it slowly as and when the topics are going to be covered. You will go on learning. For the time being, you should know the going concern concept is the base for preparing financial statement, and it helps to record fixed assets at their cost irrespective of market prices, and depreciation is charged every year. Here 50,000 is spent for purchasing a computer. This is the total amount spent on computer, but entire benefit of this amount will not be derived by the organization in the same year. It may spread over for number of years. Suppose here this computer is supposed to provide service for next 5 years. This 50,000 will be divided into 5 parts, and every year 10,000 is charged as depreciation. Every year 10,000 is charged as depreciation. This is going concern concept, and in 5 years the computer value becomes 0. Again we will discuss it in depreciation topic. Okay, that's about going concern concept. What it says? The going concern concept says that the business firm would continue to carry out its operations indefinitely, that is for a long period of time, and it would not be liquidated in the foreseeable future or near future. Okay, next concept, accounting period concept. Accounting period concept. What it says? Accounting period concept. Going concern concept says that business will be carried on, or business will carry on its operations for a long period of time, but the owner of the business may want to know the result of the business. ಅಲ್ವಾ, ದೀರ್ಘಾವಧಿಯವರೆಗೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮುನ್ನಡೀತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸಿನ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ, ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು? ಆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆದ ನಂತರ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾ? ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ನೇಚರ್. ಲಾಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ನಂತರ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೋದು? ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಹೋದ ನಂತರ ಟಿಕೆಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಓನರ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ದೇ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಅಸರ್ಟೈನ್ ದ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ at regular intervals, and that regular intervals for which the result of the business is ascertained, or the financial position of the business is ascertained, is called accounting period. Going concern concept says business is to assumed to be carried on, or assumed to be in existence for a long period of time, and that long period may be divided into smaller period of equal duration, and each period is called accounting period. So accounting period refers to the span of time. It is a span of time or duration of time at the end of which the financial statements of an enterprise are prepared. It is the span of time at the end of which the financial statements of an enterprise are prepared. What for? To know the result of the business as well as the financial position of the business. What I mean to say is, for the purpose of knowing or ascertaining the result or financial position of the business, a businessman cannot wait for a long period, or the users of accounting information cannot wait for a long period of time. At regular intervals, they ascertain the result of their business, and the financial position of the business, and the regular interval or the duration for which they ascertain the result of the business or they ascertain the financial position of the business is called accounting period. So, a period of 12 months is considered as generally an ideal accounting period. Generally, a period of 12 months is considered as an ideal accounting period. ನಾವು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ 12 ತಿಂಗಳ ಅವಧಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ಸಿನ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದರ ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗತಿಯನ್ನ ನೋಡುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ರೂಢಿಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಆ 12 ತಿಂಗಳ ಅವಧಿಯನ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ, ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಒಂದೇ ಬಾರಿಗೆ ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಆನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿಗೆ ಕುಳಿತು ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಬಹಳನೇ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಅಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಮಿಟೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್ಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಫೈನ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ನಂತರನೇ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕುಳಿತುಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ಬೋದು, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮನಿಗೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ನಿರ್ಣಯವನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು, ಅಟ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇಂಟರ್ವಲ್, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ 1 ವರ್ಷದ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತನ್ನ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಆ 1 ವರ್ಷದ ಅವಧಿಯನ್ನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ 12 months for which the result of the business is ascertained or financial position is expressed is called accounting period. And this 1 year period may start from 1st April and ends on March 31st the next year. March 31st next year. It may start from 1st April and March 31st next year, or it may start from 1st January and end on December 31st. Or sometimes in traditional business organization they may consider the year from Diwali to Diwali ಅಲ್ವಾ. ದೀಪಾವಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಂಗಡಿ ಪೂಜೆ ಬರೋ ತನಕ 1 ವರ್ಷ ಅಂತ ಅವರು ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಆವಾಗ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ದಿವಸವನ್ನ ಅವರು ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ 12 months. But the financial year of the government starts on 1st April and ends on March 31st next year. ಈ ಇಯರಿಗೆ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳೋದು ಈ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ವರ್ಷವನ್ನ ನಾವು ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬಹುದು. ಇನ್ನು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1st January to 31st December ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಕಂಪನಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್. ಇದು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಇದೇ ಇಯರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ದ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್. ಉಳಿದ ಕಡೆನು ಇದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲೆಂಡರ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಂತ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಯರ್ ಗಳು ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ನಮ್ದು ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗೆ ಜೂನ್ ಟು ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಇವಾಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಆದ್ರೂ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ಇಯರ್ ಜೂನ್ ಟು ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ ಆ ರೀತಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಯರ್ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, 1st April to 31st March. 1st April this year and 31st March next year. ಅಥವಾ it may be a calendar year. Sometimes calendar year may be taken as the accounting year. Thus, accounting period refers to the span of time at the end of which the financial statements are prepared to know the result of the business as well as the position of the business. ನಮ್ಮ ವ್ಯವಹಾರದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗತಿ ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ವ್ಯವಹಾರದ ಫಲಿತಾಂಶ ಏನು, ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ 12 months ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಅವಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಆ ಅವಧಿಯನ್ನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, cost concept. Next concept is cost concept. What it says, cost concept. Cost concept. See, cost concept says that all assets are recorded in the books of accounts at their cost or purchase price. The market price of the assets are ignored. While recording the transactions in the books, we record it at the cost price and not at the market price. Irrespective of the market price, we have to record, we go on recording it at their cost. That's called historical cost. ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಅಸೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯಾವ ಬೆಲೆಗೆ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೇವ ಆ ಬೆಲೆಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬರೆಯುವಂತದ್ದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್. ನಾವು ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ತರೋ ತನಕ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ಬೆಲೆ 55,000 ಆಗಿದೆ. ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ 50,000 as the cost. ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಬರೆಯೋ ದಿವಸ ರೇಟ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? 55,000 ಇದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟನ್ನ ಬರಿಬೇಕು? The purchase price. The purchase price is 50,000. So 50,000 is the cost price here. And cost price includes ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, it is the cost of acquisition or purchase price. Cost of acquisition. Cost of acquisition. ಯಾವ ಬೆಲೆಗೆ ನಾವು ಸರಕುಗಳನ್ನ ಖರೀದಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ? ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್. ದ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಸೇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಎಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ irrespective of the market price. Irrespective of the market price, they should be recorded at cost, and that cost includes the cost of acquisition. Cost of acquisition, then cost of transportation and cost of transportation and the cost of installation. Cost of installation. These three put together we consider it as cost price. Say for example, the same example, computer purchased for rupees 50,000. Amount paid how much? 50,000. And for bringing that 50,000, bringing that computer from the place of purchase to your place of business, you spent rupees 5,000. Assume this computer is purchased at Bangalore, and for bringing that computer to your place you spent rupees 5,000 for transportation, so cost has become 55,000. Then for installing that computer in your organization you spent another 5,000. So how much is the cost of computer? It is 60,000. Here you have to consider 60,000 as the cost price of the computer, and in the books as per cost concept you have to record computer purchased 60,000 and not 50,000. Computer purchased 60,000 and not 50,000. This is about cost concept. What we have discussed so far? The business entity concept, which says owner is different, business is different. Then money measurement concept, then going concern concept, then accounting period concept, and the cost concept. Other concepts let us discuss in the next class. Thank you.